Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday School. My name is Chessie Brenton, and I'm the Director of Children and Family Ministries at Manchester United Methodist Church. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome, and for those that have been with us for many Sundays, welcome back. This is our time to go through our Good Shepherd stories, and right now, in the month of March, we are in the season of Lent. Lent is the 40 days that leads up to Easter. During this time together, you're going to hear stories about Jesus' life that can be found in the New Testament of the Bible. Just a quick reminder to all of our parents and guardians out there, Good Shepherd has wondering questions. And I encourage you to let your child or children wonder, to really take it in and wonder with them, because sometimes we might not have the answer to all the questions. You can find these Good Shepherd stories on Sunday mornings after the 9:30 and 11 o'clock worship services. Also, each week we have activities and coloring pages that go with our lesson that can be found on the Children and Family Ministries Facebook page. I hope you'll join us afterwards to keep diving deeper into these great stories. Have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Goodbye.
Good morning. Good morning, children. It's wonderful to be with you today. I'm Pastor Winter Hamilton, and I'm here to share a story with you about a really special and important meal that Jesus shared with his friends, and we call it the Last Supper. This is a very sacred story to us at the church, and all of the words for today's story are inside of me. Will you make silence with me so I can find those words? These are Lenten cards, Lent cards. On them, there's images that remind us of the stories that we tell during Lent. That's the season that we're in, the season of waiting for Easter. And on the first week, our story was about prayer and how Jesus taught us and the disciples how to pray by using the Lord's Prayer. And on the second week, we learned about how Jesus entered into the city of Jerusalem and how the people waved palm branches. And on the third week, we heard a story about Jesus meeting a man named Zacchaeus. And last week, on the fourth week, we heard a story about Jesus going into the temple where there were money changers and flipping the tables. This week, we're going to talk about a very special meal that Jesus shares with his friends that we call the Last Supper. We still have one more week to go in Lent before we get to Easter. Jesus and his disciples were in Jerusalem. It was time for them to celebrate the Passover. Passover was a feast where they remembered that the people of God were slaves who had been freed in Egypt a long time ago. And Jesus and his disciples were all gathered in the room where they would celebrate the Passover together. Let's make sure we get all of them, right? Jesus told his disciples, I have wanted very much to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. Then Jesus took the bread, gave thanks for it, and he broke the bread, and he gave some to each of his disciples, saying, This is my body, which was given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. And Jesus took the cup of wine and he said, this is the cup which is poured out for you as a new covenant of my blood. Drink all of it. Next, Jesus said, one of you will betray me. Each of the disciples began to ask if he was the one who would betray Jesus. Finally, Judas Iscariot asked, is it I? You have said, Jesus told him. Judas got up from the table and left. Then Jesus got ready with his disciples to go to the garden. I wonder what kind of bread they ate to celebrate the Passover. I wonder if Judas was sad when Jesus said that he would betray Jesus. I wonder if the other disciples understood what Judas was going to do. Those are big questions. And I have just a couple of more questions for our older kids. You know, this was a special celebration meal for Jesus and the disciples. It celebrated the Jews' freedom from Egypt under the leadership of Moses. Now, knowing about Easter, what kind of new freedom was Jesus pointing out? You know, celebration meals are often some of the fondest memories of adults from their childhood. Which meals have been special in your home? Birthdays? Holidays? How do you celebrate them? Jesus asked the disciples to remember him when they ate and drank. Later on, they would tell stories about his life to other people. Can you think of a favorite story that's been told around your dinner table? Can you think of a story that helps you remember someone? Children of God, watch very carefully how I put the pieces of our story in this basket. So you remember which one it looks like for when we're back at church, in case you want to make this your story one day, the one with the long table. Let's get all of our Lenten story cards. Children of God, it was so wonderful to be with you to share the story of the Last Supper with you. If you were looking for a little bit more to do, ways to get further engaged, you can have your parents go to the Manchester UMC Children and Family Ministries Facebook page, where they can find some cool coloring worksheets and activity pages for you. I miss seeing your faces in church. We'll be back soon enough.